Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So Joe Johnson has just announced that he is going to be signing with the Houston Rockets after getting bought out by the Sacramento Kings. As we all know, Joe Johnson was part of a trade from the Jazz to the Kings. Of course, didn't really want to play there, probably wants to play for a contender at this point. So I wanted to do this video to see what exactly the Houston Rockets are getting with Joe Johnson. So I don't know if this is so much more of a move for Joe Johnson to just kind of like ring chase and sit on the bench, or if it's just kind of like the Houston Rockets, signing this man to this team so that way no other team gets him. Because while he is 36, he's still a pretty decent basketball player, right? I mean, he probably doesn't exactly have like the biggest motivation, like if he was on like the Kings or the Jazz, just because like those teams would not contend. But I know like the Warriors were interested in the Boston Celtics and obviously the Houston Rockets. So I mean, this NBA season, on the Jazz slash the the Sacramento Kings slash the Jazz here, he's averaging, 7 points per game, 3 rebounds, about 1-2 assists out there. Not shooting great from three-pointer, definitely a career low. But as you look just like last season, I mean, he was getting 9 points out there, shot 41% from 3. So it's like, if he can still bring back those type of numbers, well, then all of a sudden, that's a pretty good bench player out there. Throughout his NBA career, I mean, he was always one of the better shooting guards in the NBA, going back to 07, averaged 25 points per game, so definitely a veteran presence out there, and I would say a Hall of Fame player, no doubt. I mean, I don't know, guys, what do y'all think about the signing? Like, do you think it's really just like not that big a deal, or do you feel like this type of player, Joe Johnson, could help this team out? Because the thing about him now is that, he used to play shooting guard in the past. Now, of course, he's more of a small forward, but at times can also play power forward. So who knows? He could probably stretch the floor out a bit too. I mean, he's listed as a small forward, but being 6'7", I guess small ball, he definitely could play the power forward position. I don't know if I would play him there, but I guess with the whole like run and gun style of the Houston Rockets, it would probably actually work out. As far as the rotation goes, I mean, you still have the lineup looking like this. You still have Eric Gordon, Gerald Green, and Nene out there. Joe Johnson might get some minutes at power forward. You got PJ Tucker. So, like, as far as, like, the guards or the forward positions go, it's kind of locked up because you even got Luke out there, too, who needs to get some minutes himself. I'm just giving Joe Johnson some minutes so we can see what he can do out there at those. I'm actually just going to run, like, a 9-man rotation just because I want to see what the man can do. So I don't really know, guys. I don't know how exactly he fits into this team. What I do know is that if it does work out, then they got themselves a good three-point shooter and a guy that can stretch the floor out. So let's go ahead, guys, simulate the rest of the season right there. As a Houston Rocket fan, are you like excited for this trade at all, or are you just kind of like, it's whatever? Just because like it's always fun to get those guys that are out of their prime, but still were like once NBA greats. I know on my Detroit Pistons, let me disable this real quick here, guys. I know on my Detroit Pistons, we had Allen Iverson when he was out of his prime. It was so fun to watch. Tracy McGrady, he was out of his prime. It seems like every freaking washed-up star went to my Pistons team. Freaking Chris Webber, to name another one. So yeah, it's just like, I would have liked to see him go to the Boston Celtics just because that team does need some more scoring off their bench, and I felt like he could have probably provided that anyway. The simulation's taking forever, guys. Let me turn off trades here real quick, just because like 2K is freaking a broken game. I don't know. Just like when it comes, why does the freaking trade make the game go slower here? Turn that off and simulate the rest through date. All right, there we go. Speeding right along there now. But yeah, I feel like Joe Johnson, we can't expect much from him, but when he does play, I feel like he's going to have one of those games. Just kind of like when the Cavaliers got Kyle Korver, you're like, he's just going to have one of those games in the playoffs where he just drops like 20, 25 points. I feel like that is going to happen with Joe Johnson. He's just going to have a game where he just goes off for 20, 25 points. People are like, yo, that's the Joe Johnson we know right there. Just because, like, a lot of his style of basketball, it was never, like, heavily athletic based. A lot of it was the three-point shot. A lot of it was isolation and just kind of taking players one-on-one, which I guess that right there is the athletic base, because you got to be able to be athletic to get around defenders and stuff like that. So I kind of see him being used as like a corner three-point shooter. I think that's kind of what we can expect from him as far as that goes, and that's about it. Record-wise, I mean, yeah, the Houston Rockets still the second best team in the Western Conference. Do I think they're better than the warriors? I think it's a lot closer to what people probably will say out there. So, beat the Kings last game of the season. We got James Harden getting an MVP at 28 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists out there. But what I really mostly care about is seeing, the numbers of Joe Johnson. So we're going to check that out here in 1 second. Just showing you guys the awards. I like to see all that stuff. All right, player stats on the season. Because, like, it is it's currently at making this video February 10th, so we can see what his stats are, after that. 8 points per game, 3-4 rebounds, 2 assists. Those are solid role player numbers. Those are pretty solid numbers. So let's go ahead and, man, I could totally be wrong on this. Has he played for Sacramento all season? I could have swore he was part of the trade to Sacramento, because I don't know why he's listed as Sacramento/Houston. I could have swore he was on Utah, but I could be wrong. Y'all gotta let me know that in the comment section below, guys. I'm freaking gonna lose my mind. Okay, so let's go to what's his contract situation? $10 million a season. I mean, he is getting bought out though, so he'll probably sign for like the minimum or something like that. Yo, what am I looking for here, guys? I want to look. Oh yeah, I want to go to split stats. So we got February, March, April. So in March I had some averaging 10 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I mean, his 3-point percentage went up to like 41%, 46, then 42% in April. So I mean, if he can do that, that's a nice signing for the Houston Rockets, who was overall pretty quiet when it came to the trade deadline. So they got themselves some nice player. I think simulate through date against the Pelicans, see if they win this playoff series. I don't see why they wouldn't. And I think they're going to win the NBA Finals, guys. I really do. I don't know, man. Just something about the Houston Rockets this season. We got Joe Johnson, this closeout game, dropping 13 points off 23 minutes, 5 for 8 shooting. Good for him. Timberwolves, similarly current rounds. And they got them 4-1. James Harden, 28 points. We got Joe Johnson dropping 6, 4, and 4 right there. He's always been, like, good, like, just all-around player anyway, too. Now we got the Golden State Warriors, Houston Rockets, which I think is probably what it will come down to in the Eastern Conference. While the Raptors and Boston Celtics, I could definitely see that being the matchup for the Eastern Conference, especially if Cleveland does not mesh well with their new players. Similarly current round here, and all right, 7-game series, man. Got him in 7 games, closeout game. What do we got here? 27 for James Harden. Yo, Joe Johnson, 11 points. That's still big time. I mean, 4 for 10 is not amazingly efficient out there, but it's okay. He also got to the free throw line a few times. So definitely a big part of that W. Similarly current round here, and we have the Houston Rockets being the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. I mean, is that going to come down to Joe Johnson signing on the team? I mean, probably not, but anyway, it keeps him off a different team anyway, and I still think he has potential to have those games every now and then. Anyway, my friends, hope you all enjoyed this video. Give me your thoughts on this signing in the comment section below.